Right, I'm going to start again. Hello, welcome. This is the first of a series of events for my Kindness Revolution month, which I'm running to because it's World Kindness Day on the 13th of November, and I'm really obviously passionate about kindness and wanted to link with it. So I'm recording this because I have quite a lot of people registered who want to see it, who might want to see it after the event. So I will be sharing it via email, so you'll all get the link as well, and I'll share it with people who registered on LinkedIn through LinkedIn. So thank you for joining us today for today's talk, which aims to explore a subject that is far more complex and nuanced than it may first appear. And that subject is kindness. While we only have an hour together, I hope to delve into the intricate tapestry that makes kindness not just a word or an action, but a transformative force. In today's session, we'll attempt to do justice to the multifaceted nature of kindness. We'll explore many dimensions, from the psychological underpinnings to the hard science that backs it up. And our exploration will take us through empathy, compassion, altruism, and we'll look at the neurochemical basis that drives these seemingly simple acts of kindness, revealing a far richer and more intricate landscape than you have imagined. I'll also discuss some practical ways to infuse kindness into the fabric of our daily lives, be it work, family, or community. Obviously, due to time constraints, this will only be a small snapshot of a much deeper and wide-ranging subject. But I hope it will be a starting point for our own journeys into understanding the true depth and power of kindness. So let's get started and embark on this short but meaningful journey together to unlock the transformative power of kindness. So before we really get into the heart of matter, I quickly remind you about Zoom. So if we'll be using Zoom, down at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you'll probably see the mute and video buttons. If you look a bit to the right, you can see the chat and reaction options, where I encourage you to use to engage with me during the presentation. If you have a question at any point, don't hesitate to pop it in the chat and I'll address it later in the Q&A segment at the end. Obviously, I'd like to set a few ground rules about constructive and respectful dialogue. If you can stay muted to keep the background noise to a minimum while I'm doing the presentation, that'd be great. And this is definitely a safe space for everyone to share their perspectives. So now on to the main event. Kindness in leadership is often viewed as a nice to have rather than a necessity. Today, we're going to challenge that notion and explore why kindness is actually a vital component for effective leadership. Kindness is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a multifaceted trait that extends far beyond just being pleasant. We're going to talk about empathy, active listening, emotional intelligence, amongst other things. It's a richer, deeper quality than many give it credit for. And today, we're going to delve into these various dimensions. But don't take my word for it. There's lots of scientific research that backs it up. And also I will look at a case study about kindness, just the one, as we're quite short on time. And there will be some actionable steps at a time, and then there'll be a Q&A at the end. So thanks for being here. Quickly introduce myself in case anybody doesn't know me. So I'm Helen Rimmer, and I'm bringing over 20 years of experience in libraries and higher education. And this is where I've built up strong reputation around leadership, but also where I started my journey to becoming a kind, brave leader. And my focus is creating positive, inclusive work environments that empower individuals to excel and improve their well-being. I hold a postgraduate certificate in the psychology of kindness and well-being at work, and that has ensured that my leadership style is deeply rooted in fostering well-being and promoting kindness. So in addition to my professional roles, I'm also a published author, a speaker, a mentor, a coach, and outside my work, I balance My balance and fulfillment come from spending time with my family and friends. And through my business, the Kind Brave Leader, I can guide you to unlocking your own unique leadership style that combines kindness with bravery, encouraging meaningful and positive change in your life. So let's get into it. What is kindness? So according to Curry et al., from their 2018 meta-study, kindness is simply actions intended to benefit others. So that seems quite straightforward. But what fuels these actions? And these motivations can be varied. They can range from kin altruism. So this is when you go out of your way to help your family. You do it because they're related to you, and it's like you're also helping yourself in a way since you share the same genes. And mutualism. So this is a straightforward swap of favours. Both sides get something good out of the deal right away. Think of it like a friend helping you move house, and then you help them paint their living room. To reciprocal, so this is like saying you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours later. You help someone now, but you're expecting that they'll return the favour sometime down the line. And then there's also competitive altruism, and it's a bit like a competition to be the nicest and most helpful. People or animals do good things to show they're the most generous, and this makes others trust them more or like them better. So as you can see, even there, kindness is a multifaceted term, and it often overlaps with other pro-social behaviours, for example, altruism, as said there. So historically, kindness has also been thought of as treating others like kin, and connects with human traits such as sympathy, empathy, benevolence, generosity. But kindness, as you can see, is deeply rooted in the concept of human interdependency. So looking at healthcare, for example, there's a lot of stress on the importance of treating others like kin, particularly when caring for the unwell, and also around communication. So there's a really good website called Civility Saves Lives, and that is based on kind communication, civil communication, actually transforming the outcomes for patients. So it's well worth a look. So from a Buddhist perspective, there are 4 divine abodes to cultivate: compassion, benevolent kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And though these are all pro-social and interdependent traits, they are different. The Dalai Lama states that while compassion focuses on relieving suffering, benevolent kindness, or metta, aims for the happiness and well-being of others. So to sum up the differences, compassion is about the motive to relieve suffering, whereas kindness is much more focused on the motive to see others flourish and be happy. In fact, some people consider compassion a sub pro-social concept to kindness. So it's worth reflecting on. So let's get into more depth about what kindness is. But first, let's look at something it is not. So, and this is really important, it's absolutely not the same as being kind. Being nice, rather. Kind is good. It's not the same as being nice. They are terms that are commonly used as if they mean the same thing, but they don't. You see, being nice is about surface level politeness. It's holding the door, it's saying please and thank you, and it's generally not rocking the boat. Sometimes we're nice because we want to be liked or we want to avoid conflict. And while there's certain value to being polite, nice can sometimes be a bit shallow and a barrier to true kindness and compassion. Whereas kindness comes from a deeper place of understanding and emotional connection with others. Unlike nice, which avoids the hard conversations, kindness can sometimes involve telling someone a difficult truth, offering constructive feedback, or setting boundaries. And here's the thing, kindness might not always be received as nice in the moment, but its impact is usually far more lasting and meaningful. So if you have to choose, aim to be kind rather than nice. Kindness reflects a deeper level of empathy, emotional intelligence, and a genuine care for others. So in summary, it's good to be nice, but it's better to be kind. So let's all strive for relationships and actions that are rooted in kindness. So in a landscape where cutthroat competition and relentless ambition can often take centre stage, the significance of kindness in leadership can be easily overlooked. However, this underestimation comes at great cost to both leaders and their organisations. Kindness is not a sign of weakness, nor is it an extraneous feature. It's a hidden key to leadership success. This section will delve into the many facets of kind leadership, illuminating its indispensable role in creating thriving, resilient work environments. For far too long, hard skills have overshadowed soft skills, yet the latter are crucial leadership qualities that make for a more inclusive and constructive workplace. We'll explore the soft skills that underscore kind leadership and how they contribute to the overall effectiveness of a leader. The positive ripple effect of kind leadership is palpable and far-reaching. It not only enhances the well-being of individuals, but also injects a sense of purpose and positivity into organisational culture. The upshot: reduced staff turnover and higher employee engagement. So no longer do staff members feel like mere cogs in a machine. They feel valued, leading them to invest emotionally and intellectually in their roles. So moreover, kindness acts as a lubricant for enhanced team collaboration. A kind leader fosters an atmosphere of trust and openness, where team members feel comfortable sharing their ideas without the fear of ridicule or judgment. This inclusivity unlocks creativity and drives innovation, powering the organisation towards its objectives. So the importance of kindness in leadership is not just a moral prerogative, but a strategic imperative. So let's look at this a bit deeper and why it should be a cornerstone of a leadership toolkit. So we're really going to focus here on the softer aspects of leadership and the ripple effect. When I talk about a ripple effect, I mean that kindness in a leader doesn't just stop at being a nice personality trait. It's a catalyst triggering a series of positive outcomes that resonate through the entire organisation. So let's unpack the three main ripples that flow from a foundation of kind leadership. So first off, reduce staff turnover. Imagine organisations led by kind leaders see staff turnover rates slashed by half. And why is this significant? Because recruiting a new team member isn't just about the pounds and pence. It's a toll on time and existing resources. It costs money to advertise, but it also costs time and resources to train new members of staff, to interview them and to bring them on board. Through lowering staff turnover, a kind leader fosters a stable, seasoned team geared for long-term achievements. Next, we have improved employee engagement. When the captain of the ship is kind, the crew feel a sense of belonging and safety. This spurs them on to give not just their hands to the work, but their hearts and minds as well. And what we get is a virtuous circle. Engaged employees feed into kind leadership, which in return nurtures even greater engagement. And then we also have the third ripple. Ladies and gentlemen, it's enhanced team collaboration. A leader's kindness cultivates a psychologically secure environment. It's such a setting everyone feels free to throw their ideas into the pot without the dread of ridicule. This breeds innovation and lets the cream of the crop rise, regardless of where you sit on the corporate ladder. We end up with a team that's not just ticking along, but truly thriving. So to wrap up, these soft skills we sometimes overlook are, in reality, invaluable drivers of business success. Kind leadership isn't merely a nice to have, it initiates a positive ripple effect with tangible benefits: reduced turnover of staff, amped up engagement, and a collaborative team. So let's not just treat kindness as optional. Let's treat it as a cornerstone for building a prosperous and sustainable organisation. So we do have some research from a company called Signature Consultants, who use something called the Human Kindex. There's a reference to an article about it at the bottom of this, and I will send that out in the email. And it shows a clear connection between kind leadership and a company's ability to innovate. Leading with kindness, it appears, has real business merit, driving innovation and creating competitive advantage in the market. The research validates what we've long suspected. Companies are 5 times more likely to be innovative when kindness is considered a core value. Now, if we get into the numbers, the Human Kindex measures kindness and innovation on a scale of 1 to 100. The inaugural score for US companies overall was 58. That was sort of the average of them all. And this comprised a kindness quotient of 31.5. And the kindness quotient is the degree a company practices a culture and leadership of kindness and the extent to which it is felt by individual employees. And then the innovation capability was found to be on average 26.5. Now, this is how well the organisation's culture and leadership support and promote an innovative environment and the extent to which it is felt by individual employees. So companies that score high on the kindness quotient were found to be 5 times more likely to be considered innovative by their employees. So this research reaffirms that leading with kindness is the most effective style of encouraging innovation, eclipsing authority, empathy, or even risk-taking ways of leading. So the COVID-19 pandemic also was found to have an unfortunate effect. Nearly 1/3 of workers report that their companies have dialed back on kind leadership. And even more troubling, 76% feel that profits have been prioritised over people since the pandemic began. Yet, the majority of millennials and Gen Zs prefer kind management over a 5% pay rise, particularly among IT professionals who valued it at 81% of IT professionals in those groupings valued it. To conclude, kindness is more than an ethical choice, it's a strategic one. It fosters innovation, aligns employees with company goals, and offers a competitive edge. In a world striving to recover from the pandemic, it's not just about survival of the fittest, but survival of the kindness. So remember, real data proves how important kindness is. So we've looked a bit at the transformative power of kind leadership, commonly viewed as a soft skill, but how does kindness really interact within the framework of hard and soft skills in leadership? Let's break it down. Hard skills are easily measured. Think computer programming, balance sheet analysis, or decoding data. These skills often get your foot in the door. Soft skills, meanwhile, encompass your ability to interact effectively with others. Think communication, empathy, and of course, kindness. And these are often the skills that get you up the corporate ladder. Although in many organisations, hard skills are still valued higher, and therefore people sometimes get promoted beyond their abilities because the soft skills haven't been nurtured. So in all training, we should have, I think, have kindness as a core skill amongst, and the associated concepts amongst training for aspiring leaders, supervisors, managers, anybody working their way up. And here's the crux of the matter. Hard skills may execute the task, but soft skills dictate the manner in which it's executed. So while hard skills generate immediate outcomes, soft skills such as kindness produce enduring benefits that ripple beyond just the task. Simply put, hard skills may create the end product, but soft skills cultivate the team that makes the end product. So where does kindness slot into this? It serves as a connective tissue. A leader endowed with kindness can translate intricate or technical subjects into digestible insights, thereby elevating the utility of hard skills. Moreover, kindness paves the way for an agile workplace, making it easier to adapt when skill sets need refreshing or conditions change. Future leaders won't just be tech whizzes or solely gifted in people skills, they'll excel in fusing these together, and kindness will be the linchpin for both. So as we weigh the merits of hard versus soft skills, bear in mind that kindness is not an optional extra. It's the accelerator that augments the worth of all your skills, elevating you from a capable leader to a well-rounded one. Now we're going to look in a bit more detail at the multifaceted nature of kindness. When we discuss leadership, the focus often turns to authority, decision-making skills, and strategy. Rarely do we consider the softer skills, the humane qualities that make a leader truly influential and inspiring. So in this section, we'll explore 4 integral dimensions that contribute to this holistic approach to leadership: empathy, compassion, altruism, and kindness in leadership itself. Empathy allows us to put ourselves in another's shoes, to understand their experiences and perspectives, thereby creating a more inclusive environment. Compassion takes it a step further, inspiring us to act upon this understanding in a meaningful way. Altruism showcases the selfless concern for the well-being of others, often sacrificing immediate self-interest for the greater good. And finally, we'll examine how these elements converge to create a style of leadership that's not just effective, but transformative. So let's embark on this journey and have a look at empathy. So this is the first key part of kind leadership. Empathy means really getting where someone's coming from. It's not just about hearing words, but actually understanding the feelings behind them. And the first way to show empathy is to listen actively. And this means giving someone your full attention when they're talking, nodding your head and not interrupting. It means turning off your phone in a meeting. It means making people feel heard. And that's a big part of empathy. And then within this is emotional intelligence, or EQ is short, which is empathy comes part of emotional intelligence, but is a key element of it. And this is not just being aware of your own feelings and the feelings of others, but it helps you react in a way that's kind and understanding, rather than just saying the first thing that comes into your head. So in short, empathy is all about active listening and emotional smarts. And trust me, these skills are game changers for any leader. And the important thing to know is they can be developed. They are all muscles that can be worked on, that through training and through effort can become really well formed and grow. So the next point is compassion. And unlike empathy, which is understanding someone's feelings, compassion is about taking action to help ease someone's distress. And the first part of this is a proactive understanding. It's about recognizing when someone's in need and taking steps to help them, even before you're asked. It could be as simple as noticing a colleague is stressed or offering to help with their workload. And the second part is helping others in distress. So this is the part of compassion most people are familiar with. It's about lending a hand when you see someone struggling, whether it's emotional support for a family member going through a hard time, or helping out a team member on a difficult project. These acts make a tangible difference. So compassion isn't just about feeling sorry for someone. It's about stepping up and doing something about it. And this proactive kindness is what sets great leaders apart from the good ones. So kindness is much more than compassion. It's about looking at helping people thrive, but compassion is an important part of it, because it wouldn't be very kind to ignore people in distress. And then there's altruism. So this is our last key element in these dimensions we're looking at today. There are many more dimensions, but unlike empathy and compassion, which often focus on individual relationships, Altruism broadens the scope to the wider community or even the world. So first we have selfless acts. This means doing good deeds without expecting anything in return. It could be volunteering your time, donating to a cause, or simply doing a random act of kindness for a stranger. The point is, it's not about you. It's about contributing to the greater good. And then there's also the role of giving back. Giving back isn't just philanthropy. It's about using your position of leadership to create more opportunities for others, whether it's mentoring younger colleagues, making business decisions that are ethical and sustainable, getting involved in community projects, or advocating for people who may not have the voice themselves. One story I like about that is when Sheryl Sandberg worked at Google. I think it was when she was at Google, not Facebook. She was pregnant and she went to the office, to the chief executive's office, and said, we need car parking spaces for pregnant women closer to the building. I assume they had a massive parking lot. The man in charge said, I would never have thought about that, but she used her voice to advocate for women. There were less women in the organisation, so it's even more important that people with a voice advocate. And giving back has a ripple effect that benefits everyone. So by incorporating altruism into your leadership style, you're not just impacting those immediately around you, but potentially creating a much broader wave of positive change. And this is how we take leadership from being transactional to being transformational. So how do they all come together? The convergence of empathy, compassion, and altruism in leadership is where the magic truly happens. These individual facets unite to form a leadership style that is not just effective, but transformative. Firstly, we have the holistic approach. A leader who is empathetic, compassionate, and altruistic doesn't merely focus on hitting the numbers or meeting quarterly targets. The aim here is loftier, to uplift everyone involved. The focus isn't just on what can be achieved, but how it's achieved, ensuring that the journey is as enriching as the destination. And then moving on, there's the cultural impact. When a leader embodies these qualities, they don't remain confined to their office, they permeate the entire organisation, encouraging everyone to act with greater empathy, compassion, and altruism. In a sense, the leader sets the tone for the organisational culture. Now, let's consider resilience and adaptability. Teams that are led by such well-rounded leaders are better equipped to face challenges. They are more resilient and adaptable as they know they are supported, not just professionally, but emotionally and morally as well. Lastly, these leaders are inspirational. They set a precedent, a high bar, not just in performance, but in conduct. Future leaders looking up to them are likely to adopt a similarly multifaceted approach to leadership, emphasising kindness and well-being along with conventional metrics of success. So in summary, the convergence of these dimensions of kindness give rise to a transformative style of leadership, one that leaves a lasting impact not just on the performance charts, but on the people and culture of the organisation. Now we're getting into science. And you might wonder, why are we talking about science when discussing something as intangible as kindness? Well, it turns out that acts of kindness are not just morally good, but they are scientifically proven to benefit both our mental and physical health. So let's have a look. And as we move forward on this exploration, we will be talking about how kindness affects our brain chemistry, particularly focusing on the hormone oxytocin and its various effects. We'll also discuss how acts of kindness can be simple yet effective way to reduce stress and improve our overall mental and physical health. So let's have a look. So we'll start with oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone or even the cuddle hormone. This is released when you engage in acts of kindness. Now, Why is this relevant to leadership? Because oxytocin fosters trust and builds a sense of community, two pillars of a cohesive, successful team. A leader who is kind isn't just being nice, they're chemically encouraging a culture of trust. Endorphins and serotonin these are the chemicals that make you feel good. When a leader exhibits kindness, these chemicals are released, not just in their brain, but in those around them, directly boosting job satisfaction and well-being. So kindness isn't just an intangible quality, it's a concrete contributor to employee happiness. And let's talk about dopamine, so commonly known as the reward molecule. Kind acts trigger the release of dopamine, which is linked to the reward centers in our brain. What's intriguing is that this doesn't just make the giver feel good, it actually encourages them to repeat the act. So kindness, therefore, has the potential to become a habit ingrained in the culture of your team or your organization. But that's not all. Kindness has the power to reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Lower cortisol means less stress, which in turn leads to improved focus and better decision making. For a leader, this is invaluable. Stress is an inevitable part of leadership, but kindness can be a natural and effective stress reducer. So, what does all this mean for neurochemistry mean for leaders? Simply put, it provides a scientific framework for cultivating resilient, engaged, and harmonious teams. Leaders looking to integrate kindness into their management strategy now have a compelling rationale. It's backed by science. So in conclusion, kindness is far more than just a moral virtue, it's a soft skill. The neurochemical driver of effective leadership and successful teamwork. A leader's kindness has the power to transform not just the emotional landscape, but also the very chemistry of their organisation. So now I want to move on to how this supports our well-being. What are the mental health advantages? So you may be surprised to know that kindness can actually boost your self-esteem. If you think about it, when you're kind, you're putting out positive energy. That makes you feel good about yourself. But also, it helps your emotional resilience. Life isn't always smooth sailing. We all have our ups and downs. Kindness provides a sort of emotional cushion that can help us bounce back faster from setbacks. And also happiness. Acts of kindness release endorphins. So engaging in kindness doesn't just make the world a better place, it makes you happier. And of course, it's reducing your cortisol, which, as well as helping your physical, will help your mental health through helping your stress levels. But physically, did you know that kindness can actually lower your blood pressure? When you're kind, your body releases oxytocin, which naturally expands your blood vessels, lowering your blood pressure. And there's more. Kindness can even strengthen your immune system. Positive emotions generated by kind acts can give your immune system a natural boost. And perhaps the most fascinating of all, kindness may actually extend your lifespan. Studies have shown that individuals who regularly engage in acts of kindness tend to live longer lives. You see, mental and physical health aren't separate silos, they're deeply interconnected. And kindness serves as a bridge between the two. It offers a truly holistic approach to well-being, affecting you from your mood right down to your cellular health. So kindness is definitely not just a nice to have quality, it's a vital component of our overall well-being. Embracing kindness can make our lives not only more fulfilling, but healthier in every sense of the word. So now I'm going to bring in a quick case study. This was a partnership, is a partnership between the Carnegie UK Trust and North Ayrshire Council that's been going since 2018. And the aim was to embed kindness in local authority and to reframe community relations. Now, obviously, the time period has included COVID. So they did a lot of work around some COVID conversations, which helped distill 5 key priorities for radical kindness, relevant not just to North Ayrshire, but universally in local government and similar organisations. So I'm just going to take you through the 5 priorities of radical kindness that they identified. First off, create a shared narrative. The response to COVID-19 was underpinned by kindness. There was an emphasis on storytelling to carry forward values-based approaches to well-being, and trust and relationships have also flourished between communities and organisations during the crisis. Secondly, they found it's important to put the power in people's hands. COVID saw unprecedented levels of volunteering and community action. Empowerment through the provision of tools and resources was also key. And then thirdly, build on models of partnership. New ways of working, both within communities and across departments, showed that this really improved radical kindness. Community hubs emerged as focal points for multi-stakeholder collaboration, something that is being mirrored across many services, many local authorities. And then fourthly, give permission to act. And this is really important for well-being of staff. Trust and autonomy was given to staff. So this isn't just kind, this really helps the well-being of staff. There's also encouragement for diffused leadership within the organisation. So not top down, but more diffused. And then number 5, and finally, reassess value and performance. So by temporarily setting aside restricted budgets and targets, they discovered this really helped kindness. The importance of creating space for kindness while maintaining accountability was also highlighted. And within the report, they've got some enabling state principles, an enabling state route map, and overlaying these state principles, which included authentic storytelling, giving people control and building in radical kindness, they found that this really supported the work they were doing. So in conclusion, the kindness approach was a good way of resetting citizen-state relationships. Benefits extend beyond a kinder society to resilience against future shocks like public health crises, but also environmental disasters. By embedding kindness in governance, it doesn't only build stronger relationships, but also provides resilience for facing future challenges. So I promised you some actionable steps. These are just little things you can go away and do. There'll be more coming up as the month goes on. So first of all, in the workplace, consider small gestures that can make a big difference. So this could be as simple as acknowledging a colleague's hard work, offering to help when they're overwhelmed. And remember, kindness doesn't have to be grandiose or impactful. And I'm just going to put a little teaser in here. We'll be diving much deeper into the topic of kindness in the workplace later this month, and I'll talk about those events in a minute. So keep an eye out for that. And then within the family, if we bring the concept of kindness closer to home, kindness within the family can manifest in many ways, from giving you your full attention when someone is speaking, to making an effort to be patient with each other. These acts often go unnoticed, but they can have a cumulative positive effect. So why don't you think of one act of kindness you can commit to doing for your family in the next week? And then in the community, these could range from supporting local businesses to volunteering your time for a cause that matters to you, or even simple acts like greeting your neighbours or picking up litter. They all contribute to a kinder community. So have a think about how you could impact your local community, and this could also be your community at work if you're part of a bigger organisation, through acts of kindness. So as we've seen today, kindness is a versatile and powerful tool that can transform various spheres of our lives. And I hope you'll take some actionable steps and start applying them today. And remember, the ripple effect of kindness often travels far and wide. So don't underestimate the impact of even the smallest act. So just to summarise the key takeaways. So kindness is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It varies in application and impact across different scenarios. Kindness plays a critical role in effective leadership, influencing not just the leader, but also team dynamics and overall work culture. There's also empirical evidence to support the benefits of kindness, not just for well-being, but also for productivity and engagement. We've outlined some actionable steps for you here. I have. So whether it's in the workplace or within the family or in the community, but we really have just scratched the surface on these topics. My goal today was to offer you an entry point into this rich and complex field. So take a moment to think about what resonated for you today. Was it the multifaceted nature of kindness, its role in leadership, or the compelling science that supports its benefits? So we have more events coming up later this month, and I will tell you about it. You don't want to miss what's coming up if this has sparked your interest. So mark your calendars, because these events are designed to provide you with tangible tools, actionable insights into incorporating kindness into your day-to-day interactions. So next week, from the 6th to 9th of November, we are running the Kind Work Challenge. And this is a 4-day event aimed at providing practical ways for you to implement acts of kindness in your work environment and build a community, bringing people together who are sharing this vision. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of it. And then on World Kindness Day, on the 13th of November, at this very time, 1 o'clock, I will also be running another webinar on the transformative power of kindness masterclass. In this masterclass, you'll explore the impact of kindness, and it will arm you with some knowledge to transform not just your leadership style, but your life. It'll be much more about the well-being, connected with well-being. And then I will also be sending out 2 pre-recorded webinars on the 20th and 27th of November. And these will focus on self-kindness and how to deal with unkindness. So these will just be half-hour videos to watch at your leisure. And also keep an eye out, because on World Kindness Day, I'm going to launch my first course, Thrive, which will bring together kindness and wellbeing at work and really, really get deep into these concepts. So make sure you keep an eye on inbox for registration details. We'll also put a link to the website to register if you haven't already in the chat. And do feel free to reach out if you have any questions, but also you can type them in to the chat. So thank you for joining me, and I will open up the floor or the Zoom chat to questions and answers. And whether you have any queries about any of what we've discussed today. And if we run short of time, which we hopefully won't, because we've got a quarter of an hour left if we use it, then I can also send out any answers to any questions by email. So thank you everybody for joining. And I will now stop sharing my screen. Hang on. If I can remember how. Stop sharing. Oh, there. Right, hello everybody. Okay. No questions, that's fine. So if we've got no questions, thank you so much for joining. And I will be sending out a link to this video so you can have a look again. And I'd love to see you at future events and things. And oh, Amy is going to give me a question in case you. Oh, what's she doing? What do you think? Oh, there we are. Oh, and Ava's going to type one as well. There we are. Right, I'll start with Amy. What do you think has been the most transformative action for you in your kindness journey? For me, I think it's been really realizing how difficult things can be. and that it's not easy, but also how absolutely important it is to do this and to be kind. And I think probably transformational has been realizing that difficult conversations are the kind thing to do often. So it's been having the evidence and the deep understanding I now have has actually really empowered me to call out things that are actually unkind, might be nice, but might be unkind. It's helped me be fair, and it's also helped me to be brave, I think. And probably the most transformative thing has been being brave and standing up for people. And I think I've always had a bit of that in me, but having the tools and the information behind me to really push forward and tackle some difficult things and issues. So that has probably been the most transformational. And I really hope that through the work I'm doing, I can bring that sort of understanding to everybody, the whole world. But running my course, I'm currently running a course on library juice, and people have said that it's really changed them. So I'm hoping by running the course myself, not just through the library juice platform, that people will register and start a real revolution, because there's so much more to say than what we've talked about here. So Ava, thank you. Kindness doesn't measure productivity. I agree, a kind environment will actually enhance productivity, but how do you implement it in an organization that might not have this as one of its values? That's a really interesting question. I think that's the really difficult thing, when most of us, even if we are, as I was, a head of service, aren't actually in charge of what's going on beyond the walls of our team or our service. And I think some of it is about being brave and challenging and having the information and conversations to equip you on pushing forward with some of the evidence. So I gave you a few stats there, but there's lots more. So it's almost equipping yourself with those tools that you can go ahead and push forward with some of the kindness that you need, but also equipping people with the tools to do kind things. So lead the way. For example, if you're coming up with a policy, for example, at Westminster, we didn't have library fines, which was a very kind thing to do. And we got rid of them by advocating for the equality aspect, that it meant that everybody was on the same playing field if we used other ways of stopping them from other ways of stopping them being able to borrow and things. So I think it's sometimes within your gift to do it, always trying to be kind, but also equipping people, getting training from people who do training, coming and doing training, but also coaching can also help you work through some of that. So lots of different ways of doing it, but it is really hard if your organization doesn't have it as a value or a similar value. But even then, there's a Harvard Business Review article that's going around which really speaks to this. Even when people have it as a value, it doesn't mean they're really living it. And often the lower you are in an organization, the more obvious it is that actually things aren't being lived. And for example, kindness, compassion is only so good if you actually do stuff, even if it's an organizational value, if you're really willing to tackle that difficult stuff. So and it's only good enough as the worst thing they will let happen. So I think a lot of it's about training, advocacy, coaching for those of you that are really empowered, or training for those of you that are really empowered, and really getting into some of the detail around things like policies. Oh, Katie got a question. So one of the biggest realizations, personally and professional, is empathy is a skill just like other hard skills. What do you think are ways to build and maintain a skill? It is about reflection, I think, is a big thing with empathy. So thinking about putting yourself in other people's shoes, we can do lots of exercises around this. So you can do exercises where you get people to reflect on someone's skills, on what people are feeling. So I do a workshop where we look at poetry, and we look at how we can all experience poetry or music or other forms of art. We all will experience it differently, and that can help people start to understand the skills that go with empathy. But it is also about that active listening. So practicing not interrupting, not having your phone when you're talking to people. And it can be really hard to let people talk. And so practice really is the key thing, but understanding those building blocks of things like understanding people's perspectives, but also that active listening piece, just quickly. But lots of training can happen around it. So, Michelle, why do you think people overlook kindness to see it as only a nice to have? I think, and I've written a bit about this, it's to do with them not valuing it, not understanding the importance of it. So not understanding how it impacts well-being. It can often be a big change for an organization. It can take away power, because, as I mentioned, if hard skills are the thing that have been rewarded for a promotion throughout an organization, then actually are the people who are good at soft skills actually a bit of a threat within an organization? Is it that it takes this bravery? You have to put yourself at risk sometimes to actually do the things that will lead to a kinder organization. So you have to question policies that might have been in place for a long time. You might have to question people more senior to you, their behavior. You might have to call out things that are absolutely endemic within the organization. You have to tackle bullying. You have to tackle things that are not nice. But a lot of lovely things can happen with kindness as well. But I think it's a threat to people who've succeeded without it. I think it's in summary. And I also think that it sometimes takes more effort, because it sometimes is hard. And I think that people will be kind when it's easy, but not when it's difficult. And because it's a soft skill, well, it's that bridging skill, but people see it as a softer skill. And people don't realize they can learn all of this and practice it. And I suppose if you work for an organization that doesn't really value the well-being of the people in it as well, that can be tricky. Yeah, I could talk about this forever. And I will. But I think, yeah, a big thing is it's just not advocated. And yet it should be, I think it should be taught on leadership courses. It should be absolutely the cornerstone of everything that we do. But it's not. If you look at most leadership courses, they don't deal with this kindness pro-social sort of work, and they don't really value it in the way that they might do strategy or budgets. And yet neither of them will work very well without kindness behind it and the values. So I think that's my little waffle. Any other questions? Can't see anyone typing. But if you want to ping me a message, you can. I'm obviously everywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And if you want to join any more of the events, please do. And I will just put the link in the chat quickly for the other events. And I'd love to see you at them. And also, if any of you are interested in the course, on the masterclass on the 13th, if you register for it, you will also get a discount code for it, for the masterclass, from the masterclass. So lovely. Thank you for spending the last hour with me, and it was great to see you all, and I look forward to catching up soon. Bye.